38, Jessica stood frozen beside her $36,000 Mustang, her cheek still burning from the sting of her mother's hand as the words cut through the silence. "Your sister gets a dog or you get out." She didn't argue, she didn't cry. She just walked away. What happened next flipped everything upside down. A month later, 18 missed calls from my mom, her voice trembling, "Please, save your sister." My 5-word reply changed it all. Tell the dog to save her. Have you ever been pushed to the breaking point by your own family? Comment your wildest family drama and hit like, subscribe if you've ever stood your ground against betrayal. That slap wasn't the first time my family tried to control me. It started way back when I was 18, ready to chase my dreams. My parents, rigid in their suburban Houston mindset, pushed me toward teaching or nursing, safe paths they understood. I wanted art business, a field they called a pipe dream. My dad scoffed, "You'll never make it in that world." My mom worried I'd end up alone, no husband in sight. I ignored them, took out loans, and enrolled in college anyway. At the same time, my sister Brittany, just 11, got a shiny new iPhone while I scraped by with a hand-me-down flip phone. By 22, I graduated with $80,000 in debt, landing a job at a small Dallas gallery for a measly $1,200 a month. I lived on instant noodles, pouring every spare hour into learning curation and sales. Meanwhile, Brittany, 16, borrowed my laptop for a school project and returned it with a cracked screen. My parents didn't make her pay. Instead, they bought her a brand new one, saying I should have been more careful. At 25, my boss Stephanie became my lifeline. She saw my hunger and taught me art is power, Jessica, but you have to protect it. Her words stuck as I hustled, helping the gallery land its first big exhibit. Brittany, 18, got a full scholarship to college, paid from my parents' savings, while I was still drowning in loan payments. She switched majors 4 times: psychology, fashion, marketing, theater, before dropping out at 21, claiming she needed to find herself with their money. When I was 28, I took the leap and started my own gallery. The first 2 years, I slept on a cot in my tiny office, building a business from scratch, focused on urban art inspired by the cars and streets I loved as a kid, helping my grandfather David in his Texas auto shop. Brittany, 23, maxed out her credit cards to $8,000. I bailed her out thinking it'd help her get on track. She promised to change, then booked a Vegas trip the next week. By 30, I closed my first $1 million deal, a massive exhibit that put my gallery on the map. I started dreaming of a Ford Mustang, a symbol of everything I'd fought for. Brittany, 25, cycled through 6 jobs in 2 years: barista, retail receptionist, dog walker, assistant, boutique, social media. I used my connections to get her a marketing gig. She quit in a week, saying the boss was too demanding. My parents shrugged. "She's young, she'll figure it out." My success, meanwhile, was met with, "That's nice," Jessica, followed by questions about when I'd settle down. At 32, I walked into an Austin dealership and bought my Mustang outright, $36,000 in cash. Driving it off the lot, its V8 rumble felt like a middle finger to everyone who doubted me. I'd made it despite their lack of faith. Brittany, now 28, was hopping between relationships, each guy funding her designer bags and weekend getaways until they inevitably dumped her. She'd post glamorous photos online, but I knew her credit card debt was climbing again. 3 years later, at 31, Brittany was unemployed, her apartment filled with luxury furniture she couldn't afford. My parents kept bailing her out, calling her sensitive and me strong, to justify why I should keep helping. I'd been through too many cycles of her promises and failures to believe it anymore. The final straw came when I signed my third $1 million deal, a game changer for my gallery. That same day, I got a call from my mom saying Brittany lost another job. Sitting in my office staring at a sketch of my Mustang, I made a decision. Next time they asked for help, I'd say no and mean it. After deciding I'd say no next time, I turned my Mustang into more than a car. It became my fortress. At 32, when I bought that $36,000 Ford, its deep growl and polished curves were my reward for clawing my way through years of doubt. Every Sunday, I'd roll up my sleeves and my Dallas garage tools scattered, tweaking the engine like I used to with my grandfather in his Texas shop. Those moments weren't just about oil and spark plugs. They were my therapy, a quiet space to strategize my gallery's next big exhibit and brace for whatever my family might throw at me. I found my tribe in a Dallas car club. Tyler, a mechanic with a knack for reviving dead engines, showed me advanced tuning techniques that made my Mustang purr sharper. Sarah, a photographer whose lens caught every gleam of my car's paint, turned it into art for my gallery's promo. Then there was Hannah, a former therapist who'd walked away from her own toxic relatives. Over beers one evening, she cut through my excuses. "Family doesn't get a free pass to your dreams, Jessica. Draw a line, or they'll erase you." Her story of shutting out a leeching sibling hit home, making me see I'd need that strength soon. We started charity drives, cruising our cars through Dallas streets to fund art scholarships for women. It felt good to support people who'd actually use the help, not burn through it like some I knew. Each time I buffed the Mustang's hood, I wasn't just polishing metal, I was hardening my spine each stroke, cementing the no I'd failed to say too many times. Hannah picked up on my tension after a call about my sister's latest flop. "They're planning something big," she said, eyes sharp. "Get ready to hold your ground." That warning flipped a switch, pushing me to build defenses, not just for my car, but for the life I'd fought to create. Hannah's warning about my family's next move stuck with me, and looking back, I saw how I'd been trapped in their cycle for years. My sister Brittany, 7 years younger, was the golden child in our Houston home, always handed what I had to earn. At 16, I saved months for a used bike, while Brittany, 9, got a shiny new one just for mentioning it. By the time she was 23, her credit card debt hit $8,000 from impulse buys, designer shoes, weekend trips. I paid it off thinking it'd help her reset. Instead, she flew to Vegas days later, posting selfies by a casino pool. When Brittany was 25, I pulled strings to get her a marketing job at a Dallas boutique through a gallery contact. She quit after 1 week, claiming the manager was too controlling. My parents brushed it off, saying she just needed time. At 27, she borrowed my spare car for a date, a Hyundai I kept for errands. It came back with a scratched rim and torn seats. I got a half-hearted sorry, while my mom said I should have locked it up better. 2 years later, Brittany, 29, called in a panic behind on rent. I covered her deposit and first month, $6,000 total. She moved out after 2 months, saying the apartment didn't vibe with her, leaving me to eat the loss. The worst came at 30 when Brittany begged for emergency dental work. I sent $3,000 only to learn it funded cosmetic veneers, not a root canal. Each time I helped, I hoped she'd change, but she only got bolder, saying things like, "You've got the money, Jessica. It's nothing to you." My parents fueled it, feeding me lines like, "You're so lucky with your success. Brittany just needs a break," or "Family means helping, don't be selfish." They painted her as fragile, me as the strong one who owed her my wins. I started seeing the pattern. My help was a crutch, letting Brittany dodge accountability. They saw my gallery's success, my Mustang parked proud in the driveway, and assumed it was theirs to tap. After bailing her out for the 3rd time, I vented to Hannah over coffee. "I'm done being their ATM," I said, my voice shaking. "Next time they ask, I'm shutting it down." Hannah nodded. "You're not their bank, Jessica. Say no, or they'll never stop." That's when Brittany's latest scheme took shape. She'd been scrolling through my gallery's social media, eyeing my success. She latched onto the idea of a French bulldog, a trendy $30,000 therapy pet to fix her aimless life. She pitched it to our parents, framing it as her path to stability. They bought in planning to lean on me hard. I didn't know it yet, but their ambush was already in motion, ready to test every boundary I was starting to build. My family's plan to ambush me hit like a freight train. It started with a call from my mom on a Tuesday evening, right as I was celebrating a major gallery deal that'd take my business global. Her voice was sharp, no warmth. "Jessica, we need you home in Houston tomorrow, 6 sharp. It's urgent." My stomach sank. Someone sick. An accident I canceled 2 client calls left my Dallas office early and drove my Mustang down its familiar rumble, no match for the dread building inside. Pulling into my parents' driveway, I spotted my sister's beat-up Civic and a strange silver SUV. The air felt heavy before I even stepped inside. The living room was a setup. My mom sat stiff on the couch, hands clenched. My dad took his usual armchair, face hard, like he was about to close a deal. My sister lounged between them, grinning like she'd already won. Next to her was Kayla, a dog breeder in a crisp blazer, a folder of glossy brochures on the coffee table, pictures of French bulldogs price tags starting at $30,000. "What's going on?" I asked, voice steady despite my racing pulse. My dad cleared his throat. "Your sister needs stability. A therapy dog will help her take responsibility. You sell your Mustang, we buy the dog." I blinked, sure I'd misheard. "You want me to sell my $36,000 car for a dog?" My mom leaned forward, eyes pleading. "It's for her mental health, Jessica. You've got your business, your success. You don't need that car." My sister nodded, chirpy. "It's perfect. I can train it, build a routine. You could get another car later." I pulled back, anger rising. "This car is mine, earned with my sweat. She needs a job, not a pet. $30,000 could cover rent for years, or trade school." Kayla jumped in, voice smooth. "These dogs are an investment in emotional wellness, and their value holds." My dad waved off my logic. "She's got interviews lined up. We'll cover initial costs until she's set." I shook my head, incredulous. "She's never kept a job longer than a month. How's she paying for food, vet bills, anything?" My mom's face crumpled. "Don't you love your sister?" I snapped back. "I love her enough to stop enabling her." That's when it exploded. My mom stood, hand flashing across my cheek. "Your sister gets a dog or get out," she shouted. My sister smirked, not even pretending to care. I walked out, her grin burning into me. The pressure didn't stop. My phone lit up with texts from my mom, pictures of dogs' prices, guilt trips. My dad left voicemails about family duty. My aunt called, scolding me for being selfish. My sister posted online, "Sis won't help my healing journey," tagging me for all to see. Each message tightened the knot in my chest, but that smirk in the living room lit a fire. They thought they could break me. They were wrong. That fire from my sister's smirk drove me to act. Days after the ambush, I noticed the spare key to my garage was missing from its usual hook in my Dallas kitchen. A chill hit me. Had they taken it? I checked the security cameras I'd installed around my property and froze. Footage showed my dad and my sister sneaking into my garage while I was at work snapping photos of my Mustang, measuring its dimensions. My dad's voice was clear. "When Jessica gives in, we need to move fast." My blood ran cold. This wasn't just pressure. It was a plan to take my car with or without my say. I called Joshua, a lawyer friend from my gallery network. "They have no legal claim to your Mustang," he said, voice calm but firm. "It's titled in your name, bought with your money. But if they've got a key, they might try forging documents or worse." His words confirmed my fear they'd cross lines I hadn't imagined. I dug deeper. My sister had posted a story online, "Therapy dog coming soon," with a French bulldog emoji. Kayla the breeder had emailed my dad about booking a pickup date, assuming I'd already agreed to sell. The audacity floored me. They were planning as if my no didn't exist. I wasn't waiting to be cornered. I called Tyler from the car club. I need a safe place for my Mustang, I told him. He offered his secure garage in an industrial part of Dallas, equipped with climate control and a new alarm system. Sarah volunteered to drive a decoy car to throw off anyone watching. Hannah, my therapist friend, insisted on helping, saying, "You're not just protecting your car, you're saving your peace." We mapped it out over coffee, a late-night move to avoid prying eyes. At 11:30 p.m., we executed the plan. Tyler met me at my house, toolkit ready. Sarah pulled up in her old sedan, parked a block away to act as lookout. Hannah swept the street for any tales, her eyes sharp from years of reading people. I slid into the Mustang's driver's seat, the leather familiar under my hands. As the engine roared to life, my heart pounded not just from fear of being caught, but from the weight of what I was leaving behind. This wasn't just about a car. It was about breaking free from their grip. I drove through back roads, headlights dim to avoid attention, Sarah trailing at a distance. Tyler guided us to his garage, a fortress of steel doors and cameras. We parked the Mustang inside, its black paint gleaming under the fluorescent lights. Tyler activated the new security system, handing me the only code. Hannah squeezed my arm. "You did what you had to," she said. Standing in that empty lot, I felt a mix of grief for the family ties I was severing and a strange relief. For the first time, I wasn't reacting, I was in control. Taking control of my Mustang's fate shifted everything. The morning after I hid it in Tyler's garage, my phone buzzed at 7:30. My dad's voice was pure fury. "Jessica, where's the car? You can't just hide what we need for your sister." I sipped coffee. Hannah made me staying calm. "It's safe, Dad, where no one can touch it but me." He sputtered, accusing me of stealing my own property as if I'd betrayed the family. I repeated, "It's mine, bought with my money. No one decides for me." He hung up, but the calls kept coming. My mom left voicemails, voice cracking. "You're tearing us apart over a car, Jessica." Then came the letter, a formal demand from a law firm I didn't know, claiming I'd misappropriated family assets for refusing to fund my sister's wellness needs. Joshua, my lawyer friend, laughed when he read it. "This is nonsense, Jessica. No legal ground, they're just trying to scare you." He drafted a response short and brutal. The Mustang was mine, titled solely in my name, and any further attempts would be treated as harassment. I sent it heart-pounding but steady. It was my line in the sand. The fallout hit fast. My sister's therapy dog plan collapsed without my car to sell. Her credit cards, already maxed from years of reckless spending, left her with no cash and no job prospects. Her so-called friends vanished when the money dried up. By the end of the month, she filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, a desperate move that wiped her debts, but tanked her credit for 7 years. In Houston, where reputation matters, she couldn't even get a retail gig. Employers saw her as a liability. My parents, who'd co-signed her latest loans, thinking I'd cave, faced their own reckoning. Their house, a suburban status symbol, went into foreclosure when they couldn't cover the payments. Relatives who'd guilt-tripped me, my aunt, my cousins, stopped calling them, embarrassed by the mess. The families standing in our tight-knit community crumbled. Neighbors whispered about their irresponsible daughter and delusional parents. I didn't gloat, but I felt the weight lift. A month later, my mom called 18 times in one day, her voice a broken whisper. "Jessica, please. Your sister's lost everything. Bankruptcy, no job, she's falling apart. Help her." I paused, staring at my Mustang's keys on my desk. "Tell the dog to save her," I said, and hung up. I blocked their numbers, letting silence replace their noise. No apologies, no reconciliation, just consequences they'd earned. While their world unraveled, mine grew stronger. During the chaos, I landed my gallery's biggest contract yet, a multi-million-dollar deal with an international museum. Tyler, Sarah, and Hannah became my chosen family, their support tighter than blood ever was. The Mustang sat safe in my upgraded garage, its V8 still roaring when I took it out on Dallas back roads. I wasn't cruel. I didn't wish them pain. But I'd learned my lesson. Enabling their entitlement only fed their downfall. The real revenge wasn't hurting them, it was refusing to let them drag me down. Boundaries forged like steel saved my sanity and my life. I kept pushing forward my gallery, thriving my car, gleaming my heart steady. If you've ever had to stand up to toxic family, you know that saying no can be the most powerful word. Share your story in the comments. What happened when you drew your line? Like and subscribe if you believe in protecting what you've built, no matter who tries to take it.